right. Welcome to the Next Level Official Podcast. We're talking about this week's happenings in entertainment, gaming, and news. Some of us are
yeah.
are a little bit more jazzed than
Roasty.
others, apparently, today. How are we doing, gents? What are we
We
up
are
to?
doing
Doing fine.
amazing.
Some of us are doing more amazing than others, as we can kind of tell. Yeah.
I blame the wife
Somebody's a little
So,
crispy.
and a couple of pina coladas.
He's a little juicy tonight.
But
Get a
we
little
definitely
juice
have-
nuggets.
We
We
had too many
definitely
juice nuggets.
have
That's what it was.
some great news to talk about this round, man. What do we got?
So, I mean, the first up, things that we didn't get to talk about last week, the big news for this whole
Big
time
news.
is the Snyder Cut and
Just
all
didn't
the
watch it.
all the other things that came around it. The
Everything.
Snyder Cut.
All the
For
Snyder's
those that are
juice.
out there,
I'm just gonna
this
wait
is the
because
Justice League number 2 that came through here.
no. There is no
Version
number 2. It
2?
is. It is.
It's
the-
it's
it
a,
is.
it's
it.
a, it's a
It's-
redone. It's Zack Snyder's vision of
Yeah.
what is the Justice League. So first and foremost, I thought it was really awesome. Since we're giving this review, I just want to go ahead and state something that we saw at the end, which was his statement for his daughter, which I thought was extremely touching. And I honestly kind of wondered throughout the whole film kind of about that, if he was going to do something. So it was nice and touching. And I can only imagine that him making this movie, he was definitely thinking about her, and just the strength that it took, for him to fully put this together, not only for his own reasons, but for the fans,
Mhm.
to me spoke volumes. And not that I'm going to be watching this 4-hour fucking movie all the time,
I'm
but
gonna
I
do
will
it.
but I am going to give Zack Snyder credit where credit's due, and I think he blew this out of the water.
I mean, he made a complete story. Like, so the things that you saw in the first one were like characters, not a lot of development around them other than what the movies that you had previously seen. And it just wasn't consolidated into one huge storyline that really made a lot of sense. Like I felt like you're watching a very fast movie. Like you didn't get any Cyborg.
Yeah,
Like the whole
right.
movie now
Yes.
revolves around him. And I love it. And I love it. And then I'm sad
We-
because it's not going
The
to be
best way-
another one.
Well,
The best way that I can describe the first version was that it was fucking goofy. All the characters they were all made into some like goofy characters.
I mean,
Superman was goofy, like it was just too much.
the only thing that got me was like we knew the backstory of every character, and we didn't even get a chance to touch on Cyborg. I think one of y'all had mentioned the last time that the whole story in this Zack Snyder's version
Mhm.
revolves around Cyborg, and I have to tell you, when
I mean, he
saw
said
the-
it, dude.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
saw the original Justice League,
There was nothing.
I came out just as dumbfounded as before, because I'm like, here's this new guy. I know nothing of him. At the end of the movie, I still feel like I don't know anything about him. And
Mhm.
Zack Snyder's vision completely encapsulated everything, every question, every thought, everything you needed to know. But he did it with such a great emotion by developing that character on screen. You really want to see more of him. And I totally agree with you, feeling that you're not going to be able to see. I know there's a petition going out for Zack Snyder to finish it, although I
It's a
think it's
huge petition, man.
I don't know where they would.
HBO
I don't
Max,
know.
HBO Max has already agreed that like they want more of it, but it's Warner Brothers that's
Well,
fucking tying their hands on it.
It broke their servers and everything once it
Yep.
showed, right? Like, so of course they want it. They, it's helping them build their whole product line of what they're
Right.
putting out there. And so like all the issues that they had previously with, we'll just label it as upper management, like the directors with
The upper management.
upper management, and
They need
even
a
the Warner
change
Bros.
of management. They need to get a fucking
it's-
sign over the
it's-
Warner Brothers and say change of management. That's what we
You know,
It's
need.
just sad.
They're
and it-
holding
because
back. They're holding back fucking DC. That's what it is.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Speedy, what were you going to say?
and I'm just saying, like, it's just really sad that all that came into here, and then this was all building up. Like, you had all these investigations supposedly by Warner Brothers investigating themselves, and that shit never turns out to be the way that people would like it to be. And then to have this film come out and he be, Ray Fisher to be such a huge portion of this whole thing, and
Right.
like I loved it. I loved the whole story about him. It
I
brought
did.
emotion,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Character arc. And so like
Yes.
you saw who he was, like who he developed into, like the whole thing about him and his father, the issues that were there, and then like who he was becoming. And then at the very end, like you're like, oh
Like
man,
what
like
he is,
I
and you're
want
like,
more.
oh shit, like there's such a tie-in with him and the whole everything that's happening. It kind of, you're just kind of in shock. And it's kind of funny. I will say this. I remember when whoever leaked the original footage for Deadpool to actually get it to become right, because
Mhm.
if it hadn't have been for that leak and that push, we would have never had Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. It's here now, and we're completely like, this is exactly how it should have been.
Yeah.
But it took a huge army. It took a lot of leaking, a lot of people petitioning to get that kind of thing. I hope somewhere someone listens, because when the people speak, they speak volumes, because they know exactly what's needed. And this just goes to show all the people spoke and really pushed for Zack Snyder because they knew his vision was unbelievable. And it is. And it really came out on top. Really, really shined and paved a really good way for DC. Now, for those upper management people, I definitely think they should really take notice and definitely give Zack Snyder a shot, because this could really put them on the mark where they need to be. Maybe not, they don't need to be Marvel. DC needs to be DC on their level. They need to find their level. And this Zack Snyder vision is a great way to start.
I would completely agree with all of that.
It's just hard with DC. Like, and I was having this discussion with a couple of friends, and like, you have Superman, right? And Superman is like the god of all superheroes when you really think about it. So it's kind of hard to have like all these engaging stories, like when like basically almost nothing can kill him. It's just like you have to bring in other people from other worlds. And so like he could just basically mow through everyone. And so that you had these other characters, you got to know them. Like, we can break apart, some of the ones that were in here. So like the Flash, like trying to get him to a little bit more like, some of it was a little bit over the top corny for me, like all the hot dogs, like in part 1 floating around.
That was a little
Come
funny.
on.
I swear to God,
But it wasn't over the top though. It was
G-
okay.
No, I thought
him
this was
putting
going
it
to
in
be
the
G4.
I thought it
G4
was
throwing
funny.
hot dogs at what's her face's face, and then
Olivia
bouncing
Munn.
off. Olivia Munn's face, like that's exactly what I thought about, and I was like really, like I'm like,
I'm sure that I'm sure that was a different dream that you were thinking about.
I love
nah,
the
bro.
part
There's some
when-
reason you love
Just
hot
throwing them.
dogs. Apparently, you love them coming at your face. You love them all around you, raining down on you. I don't know what to tell you,
the
bro.
haymakers, the hot dog haymakers.
Pale's like, I've never met a hot dog I couldn't destroy.
And by destroy, I mean my mouth.
He said, "Is that where you're supposed to put hot dogs? Is that where you're supposed to put them?"
Shit.
Oh my
I didn't
goodness.
know.
So
Nobody told me
Right,
anything.
there was
I did
the
enjoy
funny-
it. Like it's just like he was the comic relief for the whole movie, and sometimes it was just a little bit like, you always have that. Like in Star Wars, you got the Jar Jar Binks, or you have one of the robots
he's
doing that
not
stuff.
the Jar. You're telling him
I'm
he's
just
the
saying.
Jar Jar
I'm just
Binks
saying.
of fucking
It wasn't.
DC.
It wasn't.
I-
Not yet. Not yet. We'll see.
So
We'll see.
That's
the Green
that's too
Lantern right
harsh.
now.
That's
That's the
harsh.
Green Lantern.
Okay,
right
okay,
now.
okay.
Ryan Reynolds'
okay.
Green Lantern is that right now.
Okay.
So I really appreciated his like comedic performance throughout it, because he's a quirky, awkward kid, and I think he played that character very well. There were some parts that I felt like kind of like were definitely over the top with that character, but there were also a lot more parts that I really enjoyed, like when Superman dodged him and he ended up hitting Aquaman, and they hit, and he's like I'm sorry, and you have Aquaman just like going like that to him, like that shit. And then the classic line where he's talking to Cyborg and he looks at Wonder Woman and Flash goes, "Do you think she's into younger guys?" And he goes, "She's 5,000 years old. Every man's a younger man." And he's like,
That's great writing, dude.
That
That's
is
like
exactly-
Right?
It's good. Like
it is.
So,
Let me ask you guys a question. How did you guys feel about the introduction to Martian Manhunter, and what do you guys feel about the Joker?
I mean, hey, okay, so people out there, those that are watching, jump in. I'm not very familiar with him, other than
I'm
him
not
being
either.
part of the Justice
I know.
League.
Yeah, I know he's
Like,
I know he's a big character in DC. I mean, as far as like going into like different worlds. I mean, so
Well,
that's why, and that was the whole thing, and realizing who he was actually in because he's the
Comics.
general. Well,
Yes,
he's the general
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
movies. So,
But the only reason why I ask you guys is because to me, I kind of feel like this is the beginning to an introduction of the other characters, including Hawkman. Hawkman personally is a favorite of mine. Like I love Hawkman. I think he was just I always grew up and thought he was just a badass. So I'm kind of hoping to see him in the future iterations of whatever they do with the Justice League. But
there is
how do you guys feel?
there is something Zack Snyder did with this movie that hasn't been really done with all the other DC movies, and you see Marvel do all the time. They do these soft introductions to other people, and so now you can have like these other varying storylines come out of the same movie, right? And so you had this, right? You had, people have complained like that whole scene when he transforms into Martha and he's talking with Lois Lane. Why did that have to happen? Why couldn't it have been her?
Right.
I think it was just more of a way to get him into the movie more and to see it, but like just to have that aspect of it. And then you talk about the Leto portion, but there's also something like I saw in the movie, like not only just have Cyborg to have a better understanding of who the Flash was, but I don't know if you guys noticed this, a part when Lois Lane was, like when she was mulling back and forth and when she's finally going like, oh, okay, she has that last like depressed, I'm going to be myself. She opens the drawer that shows the
pregnancy test.
The pregnancy test is in there. So it's like he set these things up to jump to other movies eventually.
Yep,
and he even said like in other post interviews, like, hey, these are, things that I would like to do or talk about because Warner Brothers isn't going to let me do it. So the more I talk about it, the better off I am. So I thought that was really good. I just wasn't impressed.
The connection for
Jared
that part
Leto.
was at the connection for that was at the very end when Batman told him, say, hey, congratulations. And they changed the scene from Lois having a box to actually having like a bassinet. So that reiterated that.
Oh, that's that whole thing. Like, so he was driving it throughout those things. And so I just thought it was really interesting. And then even the play between Joker and Batman talking about like, sending, Dick Grayson in to do that job. And you now knowing he would have been dead. Like that opens up like another set of storylines that they can explore.
It does.
And it just came from one and it was done well. For Jared Leto, I just wasn't impressed by the Joker.
It opens up the door because now that introduces Jason Todd, right? But now that they've announced that, he died, then that means that Jason Todd is in the universe. That means that Dick Grayson has left and is Nightwing. That also means that Jason Todd isn't dead because he eventually becomes Red Hood. So this potentially leads to a plethora of different holes.
Yeah, I mean, because if you listen to what the Joker was saying, I mean, it leads into like the whole multiverse thing. Because remember, he was telling Batman, he's like, you haven't found a place where you die, instead of everybody else dying.
And I mean, that's all good, but like what it was just setting that path for them to be able to go there. But really what I feel like is that a lot of the best, like well-known superheroes are in DC, but then there's also like a huge, we'll use your word, plethora. Of other DC characters that no one knows anything about.
Very true.
Right.
So like everyone knows who Superman is. Everyone knows who the Joker is. Everyone knows who Batman is. Like, right? Like you know those people, but you don't know all these other side ones. So I'm glad they did that to get that into the mainstream for you to see so that they can get to the next one.
Yeah, and I hope they don't do this thing where they introduce, per se, hypothetically, like Catwoman. They go through this whole origin. Like, we all know who she is. We all know she's Selena Kyle. Like, let's get to these people who aren't known and let's showcase and let's highlight those people. And because
that's the whole point with all these. You're right, dude. They just keep reiterating the origin story every single damn time.
Right. Yes. It's like don't do the origin story with Selena Kyle, with Catwoman, hypothetically. Do it with somebody else that we don't know, so that we can appreciate their story and we can see it in a vision that puts it in a whole different light, because that's what we truly appreciate, as moviegoers. We know these old stories, and not to say that they're not great to have, some directors' different vision on fucking Superman or whatnot. But man, we have the original Superman from Richard Donner. We have Bryan Singer's. We have Zack. We have did Zack Snyder do Man of Steel? Right?
No.
Who did that?
No.
Sorry. Or was that?
I don't know.
Okay, either way.
I mean, the point is,
you
like,
know what
there's
I'm
a
saying?
lot
Yeah.
of material already out there.
Yes. So I totally agree with you guys. Going forward,
I hope they go forward
I'm-
with Zack Snyder
I do
and
too.
his
do.
vision.
Like,
Yeah.
I
like
do too.
really compared to the other one, like we had this joke, a couple of podcasts ago, like, like 6 months ago about not really watched the first one. And then I've sat and watched it and I was like, this is still trash. Like even the first time I saw it, but like the comparison to even this one, I think it's even more because one is that the story was a bit more solidified. And then, but to that other aspect of it, I think there's a lot of stuff Snyder could have cut out. Like, I don't know if he was just going for the gold to get to that 4-hour mark.
He was
I think
mushroom
it's just what
stamping.
he had.
I think he was
I mean,
mushroom stamping everything.
Yeah, I think
I
he
don't think what
was.
he was.
It's like there was stuff in there that just like was repetitive and like, we just saw all this shit happen.
I've
Hey,
never heard
guys,
of that one.
Instead of a montage,
Of course you haven't, Pelo. It's more like
Okay, buddy.
like this.
I got you, buddy.
like this, like this, like this.
oh my god.
So,
I'm walking out. I'm done.
so, I just thought there was stuff. So, like, let's
Drink
break
your
down the
pina
movie
colada.
itself. Part 1, part 2. What did you guys see to keep us on track? Like, did you enjoy how they broke it up to begin with? Like,
you know what? Personally, I did.
It made
I
sense
did.
to me.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
I really did. Go ahead, man. Take the floor, bro.
Go
ahead. No, take it, man.
No, it's
No, take
fine,
it.
Fine.
No,
Yours.
I really want to hear what you have to say. I'll be patient. I'll wait for
No,
you.
no,
man.
no,
Go
no.
ahead, tell
I mean,
me.
I like how they had it, at least sectioned out. They had it all chaptered out. It made
Yes.
the movie not so lengthy. I
Mhm.
mean, 2 hours into it, and you're getting into the next chapter, but each chapter that was coming out just didn't feel, overly worked. So it was sectioning out the storyline, and just really giving each segment at the time that it needed.
And honestly, gave me a good chance to get a break because I didn't watch it one full sitting like you did. I watched
yeah.
it in
One
two
full
sittings.
sitting. I didn't even get up.
I watched
Mo-
it 2 sitting. Yeah, your
me
couch
too.
has the bladder stains on it from.
Yeah.
from
Oh.
The shit bucket's real. You know.
So I got to part 3, and then I took a break, and then the last set, like it just flowed really well. Like I just enjoyed how they interacted with the movies before then. So like the Wonder Woman storyline, bringing in the gods fighting in Ares, and then later on we see what happened to Ares and her storyline. I loved it. How even when Steppenwolf was talking to her, like, oh, I can see the gods' bloodline is in you. So it's like reinforcing her storyline
Right.
in a real positive way. It still made sense with the story as it was going forward. So, man, I think it was so drastically different. Like, because you saw Steppenwolf as the protagonist in the first one, and he really, he was only half of that
Yeah.
in the second
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Very true, very true. And I personally liked how he broke up the stories, and I really love how his titles, made complete sense for the chapter to come. So it really kind of helped your mindset and kind of get ready and kind of speculate what was going to happen. So you kind of started to speculate your own kind of like, oh shit, what does that mean? Oh, it may be involving, this and this, or maybe it's going to intertwine with this. Oh, cool. And then when you see everything kind of unfold, you're like, damn, that was really well done. So his chapter breakups were definitely a great addition to explaining, and telling the story of it. So job well done.
I
Mr.
thought
Snyder.
so.
That shit was just, I honestly was fucking blown
The
away.
action for the last half was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Pillow?
No, I was just wondering if you're what page were we on your notes there for your DC? I thought
We
it
haven't even started yet. We haven't even started. There's all the good stuff.
It's full of poo-poo stains on there.
But like the thing about it is that the story was complete for me because it wasn't some BS story, right? Like how Cyborg was going to save them all. Like it made sense all the way through. They reinforced it several times. Like, the Flash building up that charge to get that jolt, how much energy was going to need it. The cube always, like, I always watch for these things and how they anchor throughout the movie. And it just made so much sense when it finally got to the end. And like, that's the way it was going to, how they were going to break it up. So like, I'm just like, I would have been so excited knowing that a second one would be coming, and without any of the issues, because one, like, the Warner Brothers had all kinds of issues with the black Batman suit. Right, the time frame, like, and like,
why,
dude? I
don't
thought
know.
the black,
Dude,
why? Because they're so stuck.
He
on the
colorized
mainstream
it in post.
shit.
It was filmed in the red white, it was filmed with the red white, and in post they went back and they made
Red
it
gold.
black.
But
Yeah,
it's so well
whatever.
done because it explains like the whole story. When
Red and blue.
those flashbacks, and just going back to it, man, it was so well done. And just seeing him in that black outfit was just like this. Oh, dude, it was like it was just so. Man, I loved it, man. I thought it was so great not to stick to the mainstream type deal and to kind of introduce these other aspects which he can use later on. And it just sucks that Warner Brothers doesn't get it. They don't.
That's what I don't understand. Why don't they get it? I mean, it's taking so much. It took so much push from the fans just to get it out there.
And it means something.
And then when it came out there, Warner Brothers people, they're like, no, we're not going to go further, with Zack Snyder. And it's like, why not? Freaking Zack Snyder's vision finally found DC a footing in how DC is going to do their thing, just like Marvel's going to do their own thing. Yeah, I mean we've talked about this before. Like that's what we've talked about with all the other movies. Like DC needs to find its footing. It's kind of found it with with Wonder Woman, 1984. It kind of didn't, but it just I don't understand why they're holding DC
I don't understand
that franchise forward. You're gonna make your money, like
exactly.
Sometimes I don't feel like they don't because one of the things that as dumb as it sounds, like between the event, you talk about Marvel, like the characters are almost like realistic, where in some aspects, like on the DC side, they're more cartoonish. And so like as we jump into this next conversation, it's going to show up, man. It may like Suicide Squad, like every one of those guys is so cartoony, and like they published the last trailer. We're not going to show
first trailer
or whatever. The first trailer, we're not going to show it because we always get smacked with these copyright infringements whenever we show
you copyright people.
BS.
Just to let you know, we're helping you guys out by giving people who don't know your shit
right
and showing them. All right,
all 34 people.
We're your free marketing fuckers.
Fuck.
But I mean, like I watched it and I thought it was good, but I'll watch it because I'm excited about the whole concept. But like when you look at the comic to this, like the whole John Cena, like totally threw me off. That whole conversation, for those that haven't, we'll link it in the after view of this being posted. But like he's talking about eating a bag of dicks or playing with them. Like it is ridiculous. Like, and like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like it becomes cartoony because even in the Justice League, there was little bits of that. Like every time they threw a switch, smoke would come up. I'm like, this dude's got fucking airships flying around. They have these three boxes that are machines from another world. They got a spaceship. They're bringing people back to life. Every switch that we turn on to put the Batman fucking light on or any light switch in this place is a huge ass analog switch, the 10 times the normal size. That when we flip
it's a Tesla.
Smoke and shit. Like this isn't like 1910 when they're first.
You're nitpicking, bro. You're nitpicking.
It's just how you build the ambiance of what you're trying to put out there, and it becomes cartoony. Like that's
maybe Zack Snyder likes big switches, bro,
and they don't lie. Big switches
don't lie.
They don't lie. Like that's one of my notes in here.
Don't want none unless you got quit, hun.
And then my other comment here was, and for those that have watched the Justice League, how bad are Gotham fucking drivers, man? Like there's a crash in like every part of the movie, like cars exploding and shit. Like there's stuff in there that's crazy, but like,
dude, imagine being in that city. You're gonna have to be at a constant fucking alert, dude. There's fucking danger, or like
you can't even be running a hot dog stand on the side of the street without getting exploded on.
People got like, they need money. They have insurance. They're like, yeah, I have explosive insurance. I'm a hot dog stand. So, Joker just came by and he just blew my shit up for some reason.
That's funny shit, man.
The Suicide Squad trailer came out. Were any of you guys impressed by anything that was in it?
So I'm not.
You're like Shark King. I know.
No, man. No, the honest truth, man, is I saw the original, and then I saw Birds of Prey. I'm more than likely gonna watch it. I'm just not overly hyped. I'm just waiting till it appears, and then I want to check it out, and then I want to see if it's good or not. It definitely looks a little bit, I would say it looks, like more hardcore than the first one.
King Shark.
But I don't want this to have to be the thing. Like I don't want this to have to be their routine where it's like they put a movie out and then it does shitty and then they redo it and then they try to go hardcore and then this is what we get.
They just need to go hardcore in the first place.
I just like some of the characters like no, I get it.
Yo, what up, Sandy?
I'm just not sure this is like what we got going on.
Right.
Right. For this, and I don't know if this is just a James Gunn kind of deal that he's got going. Like, if this really like his kind of artistic, line in the sand kind of deal that he has, that he really does. And so, like, I just saw the trailer. I know I'm gonna watch it because there's just not
excited.
I want to watch.
I understand.
Something.
I mean,
I want to be in the theaters. I want to be doing all this stuff. I want to be watching good flicks, but like. This just does not feel like it's gonna be.
I'm sure you're more excited about Cruella de Vil.
I'm honestly more excited for Ghostbusters. I've been excited for Ghostbusters since last year.
I've forgotten about Ghostbusters.
That is the way it comes out in November, and that is honestly like a movie that I am like fucking itching to see.
My thing is, I just love movies with great stories, like the Justice League. Revamped itself with her story. It was an amazing story. Like I don't feel any of these movies have, and I'm looking at the screen right here. I don't feel like it has a great story. Like I feel they're just trying to throw shit out there and it be what it's going to be.
There you go.
Sandy says she can't wait for Ghostbusters either. Neither can I. And that looks like it's going to be a great story. It's their grandkids, right?
It does. It does look so well done. I mean, like I said, with Suicide Squad, let me ask you a question. Out of the Suicide Squad movie that we did watch when it came out, what character, if any, did you guys appreciate the most? Personally, for me, I kind of like Will Smith's Deadshot. Like who was he?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was funny, bro. I thought he was funny.
I only liked El Diablo because like he had he burned his whole family. He's paying his penance.
Yeah,
and he blows himself
I like
up
Diablo.
At the end.
Diablo's character, but Will Smith's character, no, God,
you get the MIB.
God, just walk away. You're
Wild
tasting characters is the same thing as they're tasting fucking movies, dude. It was Deadshot. It was no. It was Will Smith plays Deadshot. Like fucking everything else, live in front of a studio audience. You have somebody laughing here with me.
I know,
dude. Every fucking movie he does,
it's
not
coming
him
out
playing a character.
None of
it's
this.
Not him ingraining into a character. It's Will Smith plays this character.
Was he Deadshot? Is that his character name? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. That was who he is.
Okay, so like this kind of goes back to the story, right? Like that whole story that they had in the first one. I hate the fucking overacting of the military-esque person that's in there. He's like super skinny as motherfucker. But like he's a little bit more toned down in a different direction. Like he's like one of them now. He's as much of a captive as the rest of them, but like I hate the over military acting. Like he's trying to be some hard ass core dude, and he's like $125 at 6 feet. Like bro, that's not how we act. That's not how any of them act. It is just like it's just crazy, and like that shit throws me off. Like, and that's bad writing. That's bad storyline. Like that is specifically comes from that, and so like. I'm just not that excited. What I am excited about is this next one, gentlemen. Ghost of Tsushima is going to be made into a movie, and they're bringing in the main guns to start writing this bad boy.
Chad Stileski.
One of my favorite.
One of my favorites. Chad, I love you. I'm so glad you're doing this.
So what are you guys hyped for on this? Because I know the two of you have been playing the whole game. I'd never played it, so
Speedy actually I know played a lot more. My son has taken over my PlayStation and I am forbidden. to play it, basically.
You have been
Dude,
forbode.
whenever I jump on, Brandon comes up, he says, "Daddy, let's play," and I'm like, "Yep, let's play." So I never play what I want to play. I'll play what I want to play for literally 5 minutes, and it's like, "Daddy, let's play," and I'm like, "Yep, we're playing," and it's whatever he wants. So I just have
It's
not
like
gotten
rolls,
a
man.
chance.
It's like our regular game time. Every time you're like, "Hey guys, let's play some," let's play some Rogue, man.
I'm excited because the fact that this is a John Wick director, every one of the John Wicks, I've loved those movies. And so he's starting in with that script. They're also bringing in one of the stunt designers from those movies too. So like this whole game had a ton of character for Palo, for those out there that hadn't had played chance to play it. The story itself had a great storyline. The cinematics were amazing. It was just well put together. And then the fact is like how heavily it drew from those early period samurai movies that like you could even play the game in black and white. So like it was fucking legit. I'm actually gonna, I feel super excited. I'm gonna boot it back up, maybe do a little stream with it. I'm excited about this. Just a prospect of them making a great game into potentially a good movie, unlike all the Resident Evils that are out there, unlike Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I
Monster Hunter. Wow, ouch.
It was
painfully
that
movie.
I agree. It was fucking painful. It was just as painful as the time I spent money to go watch one of the Resident Evil 5s in 3D, and the only 3D part was this axe coming at the screen, and I was like, "Fuck this! Fuck this! You lost me, Mila. You lost me."
But she does all these same types of movies, man. Like, I think it's just gone straight downhill since The Fifth Element, dude. Like, none of the Resident Evil movies are that great.
No bada boom. No,
not even the first one. What about not even the first one?
What, the first Resident Evil?
The first Resident Evil movie.
It was good only for the fact that there wasn't another Resident Evil movie. It was
exactly. Yes. Well said. It was good because there wasn't one. I totally agree. When you look at it, it was so fucking 90s, bro. It was so 90s because it was just, it had nothing to do with the fucking like original story. Like it was just this over the top shit. I mean, that whole laser scene. Remember when the guy's trying to climb and he gets like cut up? Like that was cool when you saw it in the theater, right? But technically, it did nothing because it just didn't match up with the story at all, right? It did fucking nothing. Not until like the end. So I was a little disappointed with that, but like Speedy said, it was all that we had. We didn't have anything else to measure it to, so therefore we got what we got.
And then we got 2, 3, 4, 5. Was there a 6?
Dude,
I don't think there was.
I don't know
that's
how
just like
and
Fast
why.
and the Furious, man. We got like 19
Oh.
Fast and the Furiouses. They will never end. It'll be
There's 3 more. And that's it.
When will he start running out of gas so that he can't drive Fast and the Furious? It's gonna be
The last one should be Fast and Furious. Wait,
a little upset.
Need gas.
He's got a Walmart card, bro. He can go and get gas.
He's got a, what do they call those gas mans? The fuel man cards?
Fuel man cards. There we go.
Sure know what the fuel man card.
VIP, bro. VIP.
I will give Fast and Furious some credit because they create these loopholes in their movies that keep generating more movies. And I am completely astounded by the fact that they brought Han back and how they did it. And I was like, holy crap, like how did they do that bullshit and they get away with it? But it's so believable. So bravo to those fucking writers, dude. I'm like, oh my God.
I go into that knowing that I'm gonna be watching car races, crashes, and maybe
if that's all you're looking for, then there you go.
Maybe
that's why
maybe
it's so
some
popular.
cleavage thrown my way. And then Too Fast, Too Furious, drifting, Tokyo, flip flop, get a job, get going.
I've maybe watched the first one, and that was it.
Days, Monday,
honestly,
Tuesday.
Oh my God, my favorite one was honestly Tokyo Drift. I think I enjoyed that one the most because it was a complete. It
was all the Asian women, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with that. Yeah, probably. You know. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Going international pervert.
So I mean I.
So
next,
Dom,
please.
The next
Dom,
hit him. The pina colada
Drop
hit
us a
him.
line. The
Drop us
pina
a
colada hit
song.
him.
Drop us a
Drop
song,
us a
buddy.
song. Drop
We
us
need another
some-
song.
We need another song.
Monday,
Wow.
Tuesday,
I did not say
one of those
that.
days when
don't
Wednesday,
my head,
Thursday.
Oh my god, no.
It's an earworm.
Days when everything.
Dude, he's gonna come for you, and I'm just gonna film it. I'm not gonna even do anything. I'm just gonna
You
be
have my
watching.
permission to
If you
film
could-
everything, and Dom, I will not resist you.
I will sit there and if you
Not
serenade me.
resist you. Take
will not.
me. Take me.
So, as funny as that is, something that isn't funny, Disney Plus is going up officially. We all knew it was coming. It's a matter of time.
Yep.
These
Yep.
dudes
While they
hit you
go
with
up
that,
again.
that bait and switch. Is going up by $1 next month officially. Starting on the 1st. They sent me my notice that saying my next one is like, hey, buddy, we're gonna go
Letting
up.
You know,
You
Go
know,
up a
I have to
dollar.
say, Netflix did the exact same thing, and there's not a lot of people that jump ship because they made they made the
Netflix
content
has
worthy.
a cajillion things on it.
Yes.
Like,
Now
Disney Plus
that
does not.
that leads to my point though, because when they did hike prices, they didn't have anything to warrant. It wasn't until after they began to do the Netflix originals. So my take is, Disney definitely needs to get on board with that kind of original thing. I will tell you this though, I don't know if you guys watch, but I do tend to check out some of those
All of
documentaries that
Disney
they have.
stuff is original.
So I love Disney's documentaries. And those are
My
actually
thing-
pretty fun.
Did-
I kind
so
of
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. Did Disney have this fake tier that costs like $29 more?
Oh, the Premiere Plus shit.
Does Netflix
Yeah.
have that? So that
No,
you can't
no,
see
definitely.
the
And
movie
I
on day one. You
yeah,
have to
I don't
see it,
agree
like,
with
6
that.
months later.
I'm not a fan of that shit. I'm definitely not a fan of that shit. And
they're squeezing
I
out
would-
every penny.
I would
man. They're
love- no,
squeezing out every
personally,
penny.
I would love to hear someone's rebuttal on why it's good. Like there's somebody out there who's fucking, paying that fee. Why? I would like to hear them tell me.
I'm just
Nobody.
I find a hard time. Like I'd be like, dude, I'll fucking wait. Like I've already gone through all the content that I want to watch on Disney Plus. There's really just not enough to keep going. And
That's
remember, in the
true.
very beginning, they didn't even have their full catalog on there.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't think they still do. So
They have
it's
the
just like-
Falcon.
I watched dude,
Ah.
it's disappointing for the last 2 Marvel sets for me. Like the only thing that would keep me going on is the Mandalorian, and that isn't for like another 1,000 years till that one's coming back for. So like, I'm just not as excited about if I had I have Disney Plus as I would be if I had HBO Plus, because HBO Plus is giving you all the new movies that are coming
That's
out.
true.
plus all the
That's true,
content.
yeah.
So-
Yeah, and we
like-
got a good lineup too coming up. We got
and they don't have a
Godzilla
fake tier
versus King
that costs
Kong.
you $29 more or whatever the fuck they were charging us for.
Right.
So
And I think, I think that's a good point because I kind of feel like HBO Max doing this kind of lead. I
Mhm.
think if it doesn't begin to work out, which I don't think it will with this price sharing that Disney Plus is doing, and I have a feeling the only reason why they're doing that is because they're Disney. Just Disney, it's kind of like the Apple thing, it's like,
Oh,
pay $500 for a pair of wheels that go on your computer.
those
know,
wheels are
whatnot.
$1,000.
There you go. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's worthy things, and then there's like get your head out of your ass,
yeah.
kind of deals. And Disney, I love. Hey man, I got it for my boy. Watch it. It's cool. This $30 tier shit. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Anytime soon.
So kind of switching gears, like a lot of the content that's out there. One of the things that we do have, and this is for Noob here, he brought in this Dota 2 is adding some improved onboarding tools. What's the story
So-
behind this in the gaming culture?
So basically, the whole thing about this, I mean, I personally play Dota like a limited, number of times, so I'm not like an expert in Dota. But this this whole ideology that Dota is doing is basically making these type of games, multiplayer type games. They have a steep learning curve, for these type of games. So for anybody that's new, it gives them like their own new player mode to kind of get familiar with the game while battling bots that give people, the same experience as they would from players that they play online, because when you play online, you're playing against, the thing is, you're thinking you're playing against people who are like per se level 1, easy characters, not hard. But then you have what are called Smurfs, right? So these people are actually, people that have been playing the game for a while, and they create new accounts just so they can start low and just, kind of run over people. So this new mode kind of combats against that aspect. So it truly gives new players a really good new player experience, enough for them to get their feet wet to play in the arena with other players. So this is something good for this type of game because it hasn't been done before. I don't think you can find this type of gameplay on League of Legends, which is, these two games are on the tier A+ tier.
It's super interesting, right? It's just another way to combat some of the issues that people have. And like, how many times have you played, and these other ones where a dude isn't level 1 and he's like prestige level 99,000.
Exactly,
and he's
man.
Just jumping on this other account to mow down people so he can throw it on his video clips just to show what he's doing. So like
exactly.
It's really interesting, like just to see just the type of evolution to try to keep people to keep their games, especially when you have a lot of people buying in and playing those games.
Yeah, and
I think it's good.
I do too. And the whole thing is anybody that plays a new game, especially when there's multiplayer involved, because that is pretty much 80% of the type of games that people get into. They love, the campaign stories, but more than likely most games have this multiplayer aspect, right? Which is something that people like to dive into. So to have this new player mode and experience, it definitely levels the playing field and kind of, it kind of gets people warmed up. And I think this is great, and I potentially see a lot of other games following suit, whether it's a first-person shooter type game. And I say this because Rainbow Six adopted it. Rainbow Six, at one point, they never had a training ground, so there was really no way for you to kind of get experience. You just kind of had to dive in, which created a massive toxic community because you were playing with people who had already been playing the game for years, months, and they were already used to what you needed to do. Therefore, no one wanted to coach. No one wanted to help out a new player. So, of course, they get shit on or they get team killed, and then it totally ruined their experience. So now you have the training ground for them to kind of get familiar with the aspects, the fighting system, and it works well. So this is nice. It's good.
And I think we play a bunch of games where, we wish people had a little bit more, the companies put a little bit more effort into it. I know that's the reason why I don't play COD very much anymore. You have all these dudes, TikToks, where they're just basically mowing people down with their fucking cheats. It's so annoying. And then it's not so much that they're doing it, but they put themselves on another social platform.
Right.
And, little kids see it all the time, like they want to do it. They want to have like 90 kills in a round,
I mean,
and so everyone starts using it and you just can't play it anymore.
Yes. Speedy, I think, you and I, can really attest to this because when we play Rogue, there is no training ground. We know people who could use a training ground. And it would really help.
Fucking say it.
It would really help people to get to that level.
Boy, Palo's bringing in the rear on that one, but he's getting better.
Well, you're talking about there's these toxic characters.
I'm gonna be the first
they don't want to coach and train. That's you, bro.
I'm gonna be the first to tell you guys.
You, bro.
I was sucking ass last night so bad. I don't
want to know what you were doing before you started playing the game.
Where I had 2 kills.
I don't want to know. We're talking about the game itself.
Oh my god, that was good. Go fuck yourself. Okay, so that was really good. That was, but yeah, man. Last night, man, I was having some trouble, and Balo was definitely coming in clinch.
Clinch.
That's our new saying. He's coming in.
That's our new saying. He doesn't do clutch. He comes in clinch. That's what he says. He says he comes in clinch.
He came in clinch the other night. So we'll be sharing a little bit more of those video streams. We'll
clinch
drop
plays.
one that we had.
It comes in or it doesn't.
Man, it makes
Good
the
stuff,
loudest
man.
noise when it does go out. It's just like,
Yep, that's true.
no. Along those lines, I'll jump around here, guys. For us, that one of the things that we see that's coming up, Outriders, for those that don't know, was a demo that got released last month. It looked to have some potential of being a good multiplayer game that you could bring across multiple platforms.
A good loot
be able to
system
play-
as well.
And a
Apparently.
loot system. I'm gonna try to post a review on this game just because it's gonna be coming out on the 1st, if I get around to it. But there's a lot of things that I just found kind of creepy along with the controls, but that's stuff that they can fix. Here is something that they're already coming in early. Yeah. With when it comes to cheating. And so what they found, even in the demo, there were people who were able to find ways to create legendary items when there are no legendary items in the demo, and be able to start stacking those things up so they could rank up their player fairly high. So like the problem with this is that what Outriders did is they allowed that if you play the full demo, you can bring that level over to the game itself. Like you can transport it, and so like it'll be inputted into the game, so you'll start where you were, and which is a great way. But it doesn't stop these cheaters. So what they did is they've come up with a series of things they're going to do for these cheaters, including one, reducing their ability to match the other players that haven't been cheating like this, that their accounts haven't been flagged. So that's going to increase their load times for multiplayer. In the other instance, you can play this game solo, but what they're also going to do is they're going to watermark your video feed. And so it's going to have
loser. You have a big L.
You're going to be branded. The scarlet letter has come into the 21st century, and they're going to brand your shit. So like all these people that like to stream, wherever that brand is, you're going to start seeing like logos.
You're like, God, that guy's a freaking loser, man. He's
the
a
moment
cheater.
you do,
It's just gonna be a fat stain right here in the corner. Just
and here's the funny thing: you're not going to be able to overlay it with an overlay. It's permanent.
So and so New made this point earlier that it's great for them to see when they can't stop a cheater software wise without breaking the game completely. They find another way to disincentivize. So like people want to do this because they want to stream, right? Everyone wants to be the next Twitch streamer, Dr. Disrespect, whoever they want to be, and now they're gonna have their stuff branded. They're gonna have this stuff branded, and I love this whole idea of branding their stuff for them. Like this is legit the scarlet letter rolling around now.
I mean, it's a good thing because you've seen like we talk about like Call of Duty and like all the cheaters and they just can't, like, it just seemingly seems like either they're not willing to do something or there's not enough that they can do something to not break the game. But for this for this team to go and they're like this pushback, as little as it kind of seems, a fucking watermark, and then like you're fucking branded as a fucking cheater. Like nobody's gonna want to fucking watch.
And there's no way you can deny it, man. Like
you can't come
it's legit here, and you got something over it. Everyone's gonna know you're hiding it. So
you're like, oh, you're that fucking guy, huh? You're that guy who fucking did all this shit. And man, I really can't speak enough on how creative the developers are getting to combat a lot of hackers, because let's be real, man. For in
finally went on the offensive, man.
Yeah, I mean, in the gaming world, in a perfect world, for a gamer, everybody wants to have a legitimate, multiplayer experience or game even, and have it to where everything's equal. Fair play. But the truth is, you always have those fucking assholes out there who just literally want to fucking, they just want to cheat because they're just plainly not good enough, or they just want to get to the top quicker than anybody else and just kind of get their name thrown out there. And that's just what they fucking do. And for them to get creative enough to use these other tools and assets, to their advantage, I think is just a really good starting point on the creativity for them. It's very well done.
I've never even thought of having a brand come up, and this is like probably the best idea I've ever heard from that. Like, can you imagine how many people would like you talk about banning accounts, those Smurf accounts? Like, this is a great way to do that, and it's kind of exciting. I look forward to seeing what it actually looks like once the game launches. Hopefully they fix up some of the bugs that were associated with the game itself, but it had the potential to be something else to fall into that, that shooter kind of multiplayer, kind of build up your character deal that Destiny has, and all these other games are trying to fall into.
Yeah,
It just gives it another opportunity here. So I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking for that watermark.
I felt-
what I'm gonna say.
I felt like we needed a good game in between, like, a Destiny and a Borderlands, that kind of felt in the middle. What I played, I thought it was really nice. Something about the game just didn't grab me right away. I was like, I don't know if it was the graphics or, things I was doing, I just didn't,
You like to be touched.
I just didn't get past that plateau. Who doesn't?
It's like Deuce Bigelow, and he's like, no. He's like,
I can just see you guys slapping hands away. Stop it. Stop it. Stop touching me. Stop. but
Toxic, bro. See, toxic.
But we'll definitely have to wait and see, man. We'll definitely have to wait and see and have some fun when we do come across some streamers who definitely have that watermark, because that shit's going to be funny.
So in other news here, we have an anniversary. So not such a great one. It's been 100 days since Cyberpunk was pulled from the PlayStation Store, man. And IGN here is pointing out that we haven't heard whenever it's going to come back. For those that don't recall how bad the game looked, that's how bad the game looked on the previous gen systems. It looks like I'm looking at like Metal Gear Solid from a while. It's sad because I've been playing Cyberpunk, and I know Noobface has finished the game on Xbox Series X. Halo's going to look to join in on that a little bit later on. But the fact we can't see it, it's all you got too much glitter at your house.
It's glitched just like the game. So.
It's glitched like the game.
For those that out there, if you had, drop a comment whether you liked it or not. They've encountered some deals here. One being, a lot of the source code was stolen recently. So that may have prevented
that
them with
poses a bit of a risk
conundrum.
Yeah, that's not good.
So the big deal here is upcoming. They're saying the next big release that they have will fix it for for previous gen. Will it be too late? We don't know. I don't know. What do you guys know?
Considering this game has not had any DLC release yet or anything like that, I think they have a window. It's up to them to capitalize. Whether or not the source code, was stolen or what they're
get there.
I do too. But this is a learning. I personally kind of feel that they put themselves in this spot. But then I kind of also feel that maybe the gears were shifted on them because when you think about it, when they talked about the game, it was going to be released for Xbox, right? Xbox One. That's what they were gearing for the whole entire time. But then all of a sudden, next gen got announced. It turns out the system was going to be out. So now they had to shift gears again by creating for next gen, which potentially left, I think that in itself led them to forget and not really put a lot of effort in Xbox One because of the fact that all the next generation gaming consoles were coming out. That whole scenario killed it, and
that you got the pandemic and all the issues that are associated around that.
Yes,
and people not having access to new.
It was a perfect
systems.
storm. It was a perfect storm of what could go wrong went wrong.
So, it could potentially lead to other games under delivering, constantly across the board and then paying for more of those updates. I'm just not a big fan of that structure.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
What recently has shown is that there's a lot of free play games out there that do these microtransactions. And, one of the very first games I ever experienced that had a lot of microtransactions was actually Destiny, and they didn't do a really great job at it. I think all the other organizations had. Since then, they've learned, and like Fortnite's, probably the model of it. And now you have Apex, all the other ones that are out there. Rogue Company still has some work to do on some of those things there to provide a little bit more content. But at least it's not game breaking. They're just aesthetics. And so
very true. Very true.
I'm gonna roll with my badass gold gun, do some damage, see what's going on, get it going, bust some caps.
There you go. That's
watch,
always good.
watch Palo
Busting-
die.
busting
Yeah.
caps.
We've already established that I'm the human shield. They're like, hey man, we need to draw them out. Go out there. All right. It works.
Palo,
And then,
he's on
and
his-
then you know, when it's always like, who's the last one alive? Palo is. Shit, man, just die, bro. Just die.
No, it was like that game when I was the last one. I was like, dude, I ain't got no bullets. Fuck it. Fuck it. Shoot me.
you
Shoot
just
me.
went out there. You were like, I don't have any
Shoot me.
bullets. And I'm like,
like you could pick up another gun anywhere
But
on
you
the
know what?
floor.
I lasted a
dude,
whole
fuck
minute.
that.
I lasted a whole minute running around them because they
Wait.
were like, "What this fuck is this guy doing?"
my one worst game that I had last night, I literally could not get a primary. It was a glitch, and I'm literally gonna.
Fucking
I-
excuses, bro.
I swear on everything. I had my.
Oh
It
yeah,
was my
Oh, yeah.
pistol the entire game.
there's that pina colada.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So
man.
in other gaming news, our boys at Wall Street Bets have been helping out GameStop, and now GameStop's going to be helping you guys out get some
With
PC
what?
hardware.
There's
Here
no
we go.
hardware.
There's no hardware.
I'm just saying, it's just this. It's just they could have waited when there was some stock, and they're like making a big deal, like, "Hey guys,
How
we're
do you
gonna
know
have
they
some
don't have
hardware."
stock? How do you
But
know they
nobody
don't?
has stock? Nobody has stock.
How do you know?
But nobody.
the
How do you know?
Nobody.
But the
eBay
whole,
does.
But the
Show
whole
me the
thing
article.
is. But the
eBay
whole
Show me the
thing
article where it
is.
is.
But
eBay.
you got to understand. You have to understand. So right now we have the 3070s, the 3060s, the 3080s, and the 3090s, right? But eventually they are going to be releasing TI editions, and they've already put stricter regulations on those who buy GPUs for mining.
Mhm.
So therefore, having another outlet such as GameStop gives you the potential to buy it in-house, right? Because right now, as it stands, there's nowhere you can fucking go and physically get one, even if you could. At least right now, we would have an opportunity, just as you have an opportunity to get an Xbox
Would.
or a PlayStation. So
Don't tell me that because it took me forever just to get my Xbox.
that's your fault. We told you when to
That's not my
pre-order that shit. We told you way ahead of time to pre-order that
I
shit.
ain't got that. I
We
ain't got
got
that
one.
fat new
Yeah,
money.
Oh geez, just shut your mouth. Shut your pie hole.
I just think my argument is just like, oh, they announce it that they're gonna have the hardware, and
Right.
oh, great, there's gonna be a place, but you can't find it. You're not gonna
Yeah.
find it tomorrow. You're not gonna
Right.
find it next month, let alone in a few months.
Okay, so
I get you, but
according
understand.
to Palo's logic is they should stop selling PlayStations.
No, I'm not
and
saying
no, no,
about the
Xboxes
PlayStation. No,
I
because
know
there
what
are
you're saying,
none.
but they've established that beforehand.
I know, but think about it, bro. Think about it. It says they're gonna sell PC hardware like RTXs. It's not like all they're focusing on is RTX GPUs. They're just saying, hey, man, they're gonna start selling PC hardware. Personally, they should have done this shit a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
They should have.
And okay, then that's what I
you know,
agree to too. They should have done that
It-
a
it says
long time ago.
laptops, all other kind of
Yeah.
things. So like,
But the
they
whole
got-
thing about it is Fry's, right, went out of business. So now there was no place to get any hardware like you used to,
Well,
right?
I
Because
mean,
they were like
Fry's-
We didn't even
Go
have
ahead.
fries here.
Is it
Fry's, man.
Fries.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
Fry's was horribly run if you look at
And
their
that's
business
true.
model to begin
Very
with, right?
true. Yes.
So, like, I don't know what the hell those dudes were doing. They're
And-
probably taking all their shit and playing with it in the bag,
Right.
but
and
not
and
selling
now,
it.
now we only had Best Buy, who sells mediocre, right? They don't have. It's not like you can go in there and like, oh, hey, they got all of this stuff, you know. But you know what? For GameStop, I truly feel. Hopefully, this is potentially part of what will be the iceberg. You know, or not the iceberg
mean-
tipping over. That's not a good analogy. But this will be good for them to kind of start building, right? Right,
Well,
because
they
their
sh-
stock
it's
is
exactly.
skyrocketing, and we need their stock to match. You know what they're worth. Having
Yeah.
PC game parts as a part of their inventory, whether it's AMD, whether it's Intel, NVIDIA products, AMD GPUs. This is great. They could go to sell NZXT cases. They could have their own type of cases, right? That combat the prices of Corsair. I mean, there's
And then
a lot of
remember, you
potential.
got to realize they have that Microsoft hookup too. So
That's true.
these are all things. So
Maybe-
like they can become a true gaming center. Then maybe they could draw back some of the people that
Yes.
they're missing. And
If
so
they play it
if-
safe, and play it wise, they definitely could.
If they keep their
I don't play
stocks up.
anything safe. I don't play anything safe, bro.
Oh God, here we go.
Just getting it all out there. Just go crazy. But hopefully GameStop is taking a turn around here. Get busy. Get some gaming. Stop selling us those overpriced discs.
Yeah. Let's get away from that. All right. Maybe having more of their money going into like, the PC gaming side and making money will finally give gamers a break when they actually turn their fucking game in and don't get shit money for it. So hopefully GameStop, you've learned your fucking lesson.
Now I can go sell my mouse and get it.
I think we've learned now from the world that we live in, we don't even need to go to GameStop to resell games. Like you could just go to any of your apps on your phone,
offer up marketplace. Yeah, that's true.
All those bad boys now. You don't need them, so they need to go into a different area instead of trying to buy my games.
We don't need you. You
a hundredth of the price that it is. So, in talking about games, one of the things that we've always been kind of hounded here, and we're pretty much an Xbox crowd here on the show, though.
PC, Xbox, PC.
Don't be talking PC.
You and your fucking PC, PUBG.
Bro. You play
Nobody
like
even
2
plays
games.
PUBG.
PC. He plays PUBG and Rainbow Six.
So much flack.
That's it. That's all he plays.
There's shit flying everywhere. Jesus.
That's all you've been
bro.
playing, bro. I know you spent thousands, on freaking Rainbow,
I'm a PC player and I have 2 games I play, bro.
God. I'm damn good at them.
You keep busting my ass. Hey, bro, you need to get a PC. You need to get a PC.
I'm a lead farmer,
to play 2 fucking games?
Stupid. But one of the things that Xbox has done well, though, they've tried to increase the price rate lately, was that Game Pass and all the offerings on it. The team here, we played some Rogue Squadrons or whatever the hell it's called, Star Wars and
Star Wars Squadrons, yes.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Poo-poo.
It was on the Game Pass.
Immediately deleted afterwards.
Deleted it afterward. For those that are PlayStation owners, PlayStation has been combating this. They have their own Plus network, but now for this upcoming month, you can go ahead and grab games here. You don't have to be a Plus member, and you can start just grabbing some titles between this next month, next 30 days. And what they're calling it, because of the pandemic, because of all the hype in gaming and all the people that are out there, and then just the ability to actually get a new system, they're offering free top-tier games that are coming through and a lot of indie ones. So Ratchet & Clank is one of the ones that you can get here. Dawn New Horizon next month will be coming up free. I think this is amazing. I do have my PlayStation. I don't play it as much as I would like, just because we normally roll Xbox.
Yeah.
But because of the party chat, let's be honest, the party chat is the best amongst all the systems. That's the main reason why. And I think this is great.
If I hear Pello whine, I want to hear him whine like
you're gonna hear me
here. I want to hear that clarity of his tears.
We hear him. We hear everyone in his house.
I want to hear OJ's bad ideas.
We hear his heavy
toxicness.
breathing.
Yeah.
We hear his heavy breathing. Like he ran down to the corner store and back with some brews, and then he's hanging out with us. It's all happening on.
I'm telling you, man. It's the reason why they call me Pello, man. It's got to go through all the Pellos and just breathe in.
OJ's call outs and his great ideas, buddy. I know you're hearing this right now.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. The money I pay is worth more than its weight in gold because of you. Okay, just want to let you know. Man.
Just upset we're not talking about Bitcoin.
yeah.
But for those that are PlayStation owners, jump on this. I'm gonna boot up my system. There's awesome here. If you don't have a PlayStation 5, you can actually add it to your account with your PS4 and then upgrade it when it comes to the PlayStation 5 if you do make that choice later on. So I'm super excited about these games. It's going to be something new. The Horizon Zero Dawn is probably going to be the one I'm really looking forward to. We got some other ones. Uncharted is going to be on there listed.
Abzu is that one that's underwater, and I actually have that on PC. That's actually a really fun game. I think that's an indie type game as well.
But there's going to be a ton of stuff out here, more than enough to start playing. And the best thing is, it's free.
All free.
I like free. But
you should download it, man. I think eventually you get a PlayStation, and you should get them.
Yeah, you just have to have an
I don't
account.
know.
If you
You
got
just have to have an
PSP
account, bro.
account,
And
you
you'd
can
already
start
have
downloading
games.
them.
And they stay with you forever. Like any game that you've downloaded, even though it's free, if it goes, back to like $20 or whatever, it's
I do
still
that with
in your
the
account
Epic
for
Store
free.
all the time, dude. I just download
Yeah,
whatever they're doing during the
exactly.
summer, and then
Yep.
boom, and then delete it immediately.
Yep,
But
that's what I do. Because then when I go to your library, you have all your free shit. Everything you've purchased is
So
all
I'll-
there and available to download, man.
So I'll go with Speedy's recommendations of games, not yours. Just-
We recommend the same, so you're not hurting me.
no, you don't. No, you don't at all. You're the one who wanted to play
Wait.
fucking Squadrons. Yeah, I'm down for it, bro.
I said I'm
Let's
down because
do
you were like,
this.
hey,
Let's do this,
Squadrons is
bro.
up, guys. I was like,
No.
okay, we'll
No,
play
I
it.
didn't.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't.
He
No.
said it.
No.
who's he?
No.
Who's he?
Palo
Who's he?
suggested it, and I was like, oh, I do have it download. You're like, we could play that.
Oh
No.
man,
No.
Wow.
Go drink,
Okay,
your,
well,
go drink your pina colada and go have a good night.
I think we have
will
it
be
recorded.
streaming these. We will be. We do.
will be
I'm
streaming.
gonna post it down in my link for the
Mhm.
2 hours of gameplay. You'll see more. as we
Your
continue
Star Trek
going
fans
out
are going to
there.
be hurt by Palo's commentary. I'm telling you right now, hearts will bleed.
He was talking some massive trash about the Borg. It was
Mhm,
bad.
mhm.
He's like
No.
Romulans.
No.
The Romulans.
Romulans.
You're like Romulans.
Don't talk about
Romulans.
don't listen to these Star Wars geeks here.
Star Wars.
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
That's it.
Yeah,
You sound like you're
Squadrons was really horrible. But
Honestly, we will not be playing that game ever again.
Wildlands last night at almost 3:00 in the morning really took the cake trying to finish that
Oh,
one damn mission.
Fucking gut.
And I love
You kept
I love
fucking
how
going in the middle of
did.
the fucking
I did.
town.
You know what?
You're
I don't give a
saying
fuck.
hi to fucking Wilita, and it's like, hey, dude, you need to like
I was like,
and then
hey,
you're like,
hey, Balo, tell me the time.
Go
Jack
tail
didn't try
him.
to pass
go
off.
tail him.
Tell me the time.
Not give him a high fucking five.
Will you shut your mouth and listen? Remember when Speedy tried to pass off the fact that he fucked it up, and he was like, "That wasn't
It
me." And
almost
it had
worked.
his name.
It
and
almost
it had his
worked.
name. It had his
almost
name
worked.
there.
One fucking time we
almost
put it like
worked.
6 times, and like, wow, one time fucking Speedy gets spotted randomly.
I didn't even get spotted. I shot somebody who was right next to another.
Dude, I was going off
And
and
I was
shooting like 10 people. You're like, dang it, noob, stop shooting people. I was like, I'm capping them all, bro. I'm capping them all.
So as much as
Send
you
this
guys
times,
want,
man. Good
we will be
times.
trying to drop some other content, especially some gameplay of us just messing around.
Definitely,
look
guys.
forward to that stuff. Thanks, Sandy, for all the comments out there. We love you.
Always, yep.
We love Ralph's entourage with him. I mean, Pelo's
Mhm.
entourage with him.
Yeah.
Continue
His real
watching.
name is not Ralph. His real name is not Ralph.
It's
We just
Steve.
call him that.
It's
It's
Steve.
really, it's
Steve.
something
So
with an S.
Don't mess up with my subscribers, my Pelo Plus people, you know.
But we really thank everybody for hanging out and watching us. And don't forget, we're going to also be having our social media links down below, so you can go ahead and watch those. And we'll also be streaming.
We'll see streaming, and we'll see you guys next week.
That's second pina colada. Just
Bye.
kicked in. It just
Go.
kicked in.
And we'll see you all online. All right,
Peace out.
Peace. Thanks, guys.